G'day, legends, and welcome to the Celtic Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Jared, and joining me tonight are Liam and Sean. How are you, Liam?
Good, thanks, mate. It's summer holidays are here as of today. I'm on holiday for the next 2 or 3 weeks, so that's going to be fun.
Lucky you bastard, wherever you're freezing off, freezing our titties off, you know how it is. Nah, happy
well,
for
it's the complete opposite here. I'm bloody sweating like Jimmy Savile in a coma ward, I tell you.
Hey, there it is. And how are you, Sean?
Yeah, good, man. Went out for a pint the other day and there was a fucking talking bear at the bar. Talking bear. He said to me, "That's a really nice haircut." I said, "What's with a big pause?"
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I was wondering where you're going.
You know, I had a similar thing. I was in the pub a few weeks ago, and the piano player had his wee pet monkey on the piano, and it just ran up and dipped its cock in my pint of Guinness. Went up to the piano man. I said, "Hey, do you know your monkey's just dipped its cock in my pint?" He said, "No, but if you start singing it, maybe I'll pick it up." Hey.
Oh, I want that one. I hit the wrong one then. Anyway. All right. So just before we start, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're listening and you haven't done so, please subscribe to the Celtic Down Under podcast using your podcast app. Pretty much on all the main ones out there. So yeah, we appreciate any support. If you're watching on YouTube, what's wrong with you? Why would you want to see these rough looking faces? However, thanks for the support. Please subscribe on there too. Hit the notification bell so you know once our show goes live each Wednesday. So tonight's podcast, season starting on the weekend. A couple of things to discuss. Mainly, this time of year we do our fearless predictions on the Celtic Down Under podcast. This is the third year of it. And every year we get more and more little questions or predictions made. So if any Rangers fans who tune in and screen grab this, have fun. You're an idiot, but have fun. Thanks for watching, giving us extra downloads. But every Celtic fan, let us know what your what you think of these, what your predictions are when we get to them in the comments section as well. I want to make the shows as interactive as possible. So
for those Rangers fans joining us on YouTube, anyway, please continue.
So what we'll do is we'll just start off with our last preseason game. I had the privilege with to be on Axom's match day coverage. So basically what we did was we did a Celtic Down Under and Axom combined show. So I was on, Lawrence and Kevin were on from Axom, and we just had it. We basically did the pre-game show, halftime, post-game. It's really good fun. It's up on their YouTube channel as well, but we're going to be doing a few of those throughout the season. I'll try and get some of you other boys involved as well, where we do a bit more work and cross-promoting everything with them because I've got a really good relationship with them. So thanks, Paul, for having us on. And, yeah, let's discuss the Celtic-Norwich game. So, Sean, what was your thoughts on the game? It was a 2-0 win for Celtic, obviously.
Yeah, it was very much like one of those games you see during the season where like we do kind of are relatively comfortable in the game and then but only managed to score 2 goals. 2 very nice goals, particularly the Maeda one. I know there's a lot of people pissing and moaning about Juranovic being offside, but it was the Norwich defender that played it out to him. But yeah, it was a bit of a Moussa Dembele finish from Maeda. Very, very classy. And the Turnbull goal, again, it showed the power of the high press because it starts with the Norwich left back. And then Turnbull, I actually thought his kind of touch, turn and finish was reminding me a little bit of a kind of right-footed Tom Rogic. But yeah, Dean Smith's game comments after the game, rather, were quite flattering, talking about us as like a well-oiled English Premiership side. Maybe, I don't know. Like I
misunderstood that, Sean. He said you're a potential Premier League type team. That was what he said.
So it wasn't flattering; it was condescending.
No,
okay,
it was condescending. Saying, we got relegated from that league. You just beat us 2-0, but you know you're a potential Premier League team. Well, you're a potential Championship mob. Because, you're already in the championship, but your team's pretty crap, mate. So I'll try and rehash how I was going to say it. You're a potential cannon fodder for the likes of Millwall. That's all I have to say.
A potential League One team.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I meant. But anyway, I don't care much for English football, as you could tell. So there you go. Liam, what was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought it was good to see there was a very clear step up in intensity, in movement, and also in just general play, based on the previous week's friendlies. Defence looked tighter, tackling was better, passes were more accurate. I felt like it's good to see week by week the team getting stronger, and the new faces getting absorbed more into the squad, and the players that might have been a bit rusty are starting to get back to where they should be. And it's bring on the league now. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it's good to see the match fitness in the boys. A lot of guys getting a run out, getting some game time. For me, that's what I was real happy with. It was good to see Moy get out there, even though two of his first three touches were absolute. Looked like he was playing with concrete boots on. Big Jens didn't put a foot wrong, in my opinion. I think he adds quite a bit there. So I'm pretty happy with him. What do you boys think of the two new signings that made their Celtic debuts?
Yeah, that's good. I was also we're more concerned about Allocation not getting off the bench. It made me kind of think, like if your boys are just in the door getting a game and Gucci's not getting off the bench, like it makes me wonder if that injury that's just been reported today was actually pre-existing, and maybe it's not as bad as they're making out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's been nothing in the press over here about Gucci's injury other than he's going to miss the start of the season. That was all it said. I thought that Moy looks like he's still a good 2 or 3 weeks away from being up to match speed. You can tell that's a guy that's not been through a full pre-season in terms of training. Not his fault, but that's just
when did they last play a game? Because he was
February,
yeah. So
other than the Australian games that he played to get into the World Cup, his last club game was in February. That was something I said as well, Liam, on Axon when I was on the pre-game there. I was saying I see him as the sort that's going to take a month or two to get up to speed because it's been so long for him since February for the club, and he's missed the whole pre-season. So realistically, we've got to give him till at least a month to get up to speed. But Ange will bring him along. He's not going to put him on if he doesn't think he can contribute when he's on the pitch.
Well, if he's not up to speed and Gucci's injured, then that means McCarthy could be seeing some game time early on.
Yep.
But that's progress, though, isn't it? That's a position where at the start of last season, if one player were to get injured, we'd be like, oh no, what are we going to do? Now it's like, okay, he might not be up to it, we'll play him. Oh, is he injured? We'll play him. We've got so many options now. The squad depth has really come on in the last year, I think, which is something that's maybe flown under the radar a wee bit because people have been going on about individual players, individual performances. Just the overall quality of the squad that we have at our disposal now is so much better than it was a year ago.
That's the thing. Like I've said this as well on our pod previously, but it's a squad game now. Like realistically, we're going to have 17, 18 players there who are capable of starting and we won't lose much. So it'll more be, okay, what sort of centre-back pairing do they have? They've got a couple of big guys who want to smash you around. So you probably start Giakoumakis there instead of Kyogo or whatever. So it's horses for courses. So we'll be able to figure all that out. But yeah, we've got a squad there. It's good to see, especially with some of the injuries we've got at the moment. I'm still not overly worried. There's a couple of positions I'd like to see strengthened, but as long as they, some guys go out first, then they're options. So what we'll do is we'll bring up a couple of comments before we keep discussing this. So start off with, where are we? Here we go. Paul Birrell in the comments. how you all doing? Paul tunes in, comments on all our stuff on Facebook and all that. So thanks for watching again, Paul. We really appreciate that. Hail, Michael. We'll go this one here. Good to see you, lads, from my wife. So,
I was going to say, that one looks a bit sus.
She was about to walk in right when I started recording, so I had to wave her off, going, no, because she was worried about our internet issues we have had here all day. So, yeah.
She has to post comments on our YouTube to talk to you, Jared.
I thought I'd bring that one up just for fun. So when she listens in tomorrow, she sees it, she'll be like, oh, you're a smart ass. There you go. Now, Michael Ross has also put an actual comment there. So is McCarthy really an option? What do you reckon, Liam?
Yeah, he is. At Scottish Premiership level, absolutely he is. He's got the experience. He's got the ability. I don't think he's quite got it at the absolute top level. I wouldn't want to be pitching him into a European game against Barcelona or something, but, you know, a home game to Ross County in the League Cup or whatever, you know, fine. We're away to Ross County in the League Cup. I'm just using that as an example.
For me,
you know, he's all right.
What you're saying is fine. For me, what we've got to get out of our minds is McCarthy, what we saw from him last season to now. At least now he's had a preseason. Last year, he came in on the exact same time that Moyes come in. Training on his own, no preseason. So he never really hit the ground running. So we've got to separate last season McCarthy and this season McCarthy. I'd like to see something. I think he may be an option in the league, like you said, Liam. But in Europe, no, he's not an option.
Well, not based on current form. That's the thing, you know.
Well, one point to make is that if you look at the team from the weekend there, you've got your starting three, which will probably be the starting three next week as well, which is McGregor, O'Reilly, and Hatate, and then next man up is Turnbull. And then after that, it's McCarthy. And that's mainly because Moyes a month away and because Gucci's injured. So McCarthy today is the fifth choice centre mid. So that if that in last year he was mostly like 7th and 8th in the line. So if he's going to be taking that spot, he needs to have raised his game since last year. So hopefully he has, if he is going to contribute.
Because that's the thing. He only is where he is now on account of Beaton and Rogic having left. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's moved him up the rotation a couple of spots. Yeah. But yeah, it's I think realistically, it's. Do we need another midfielder? We've all said we wanted another defensive midfielder brought in, but then would Ange play with a pure out-and-out defensive midfielder? No, he wouldn't. He wants a deep-line playmaker more there. That's why he's brought Moy in. Because Callum McGregor, when he plays in the 6, what does he do?
Well,
he cuts off the ball and he puts long passes in. Moy, same sort of thing. So it makes a bit of sense there, but I still would have loved that Vera to come to us, but it looks like he's gone to a Brazilian team.
In some of the preseason games, Joe Hart's been the out-and-out defensive midfielder.
I made a Phyllis prediction when I told the boys and X on what we do and on this pod. And I said, yep, my Phyllis prediction is Joe Hart's going to score a goal because of where his position was on the field. Now, whether that's he scores a goal for us or he does something stupid because of his position and it's an own goal, he's still going to score one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, I remember it was actually worse in last preseason, how high Barkas was. And it kind of, once the season proper started, it calmed down. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen again, but who knows? Like, it might just be that Postecoglou was waiting until a preseason to actually, because Joe Hart did come in late. So maybe he's been waiting for this chance to get it into him. But like I said, there was signs of this last year that didn't materialize when the games actually kicked off.
So I've got another comment here from Michael. Ange says we're still active in the transfer market. Where does everyone think we need strengthened? We'll go with you first, Liam.
Yeah, I would like to see not necessarily a defensive, but a more physically imposing midfielder brought in. Our midfield now is a wee bit lightweight, I think. Just a good, strong enforcer type for midfield. And possibly one more defensive cover on the in the centre, because we don't know how long Starfelt's going to be injured. Jens is going to need time to settle in. If Carter Vickers gets injured, we're in big trouble. So,
Oh, come on now. For me, that's what I was talking about earlier, saying we've got to get guys out before we get guys in. So since our last podcast, there's been a couple of rumours of players going out, and one of the guys was Stephen Welsh to Toulouse in France. Celtic rejected it. Now, for me, I agree, unless we're bringing someone else in. But realistically, you've got Jens, Carter Vickers, Starfelt. So that's your fourth string centre back. Now, you've also still have Julie in there as well. So do we sign another one, which you're saying they're Liam to do that? Or does that mean does Julian just play out his contract and go at the end of the season? That's your other option you've got if something happened to Carter Vickers. But Stephen Welsh to Toulouse, should Celtic have accepted that deal? Sean, what's your take on that? And do you think we'd end on centre?
Yeah, I agree with exactly what you're saying, Jared. I think the only even if you look at our failed transfers for Vinicius and for Vera, it looks like the only position we're actually looking to add numbers to is that one centre mid. But as the question says from Michael, where do we need strengthened? And if you're talking about strengthening, then you're talking about Julian and Ayeti out and bringing in a more suitable centre back. And Ayeti doesn't have to be replaced with an out-and-out striker. It can be someone that can play in the wing as well, and Maeda can be the auxiliary striker. But yeah, that's the two. So obviously, but I believe we need to add a centre mid, and I believe we need to strengthen by addition and subtraction at centre back and somewhere in the forward line.
Well, you're talking about the forward line, and that ties into the next one that I wanted to bring up, because stories today that Mikey Johnson's going to go out on loan. Rumours are that there's a couple of Scottish clubs interested. There's a couple of Championship and League One clubs in England interested. And there's also Ronnie Dahlia is interested at taking him over to Belgium to Standard Liège. So what do you guys think we should do with Mikey? Where would you prefer him to see him loaned? Stay in Scotland, go play for Ronnie, go back down south? What would you guys think is best for Mikey personally as a footballer? And second of all, best for Celtic? Because what you're saying, Sean, is you want to bring someone in across the front. I'd want someone who can play multiple positions, because we've got Jota, we've got Maeda who can play left. But then if you want to play one of them as a striker, you want to play Jota out on the right, you need someone else as another option on the left. So what do you guys think? First of all, Mikey Johnson, where should he go on loan? Second of all, what do you think we should do with that position if he does move on?
Well, it's a risk to the squad if you do let him go out on loan, because he is that fifth choice. We talked about it before, like having big teams have a fifth choice fullback that can play on either side, or they have a fifth choice winger that can play on either side that will fill in when someone of the first four choices is injured. So it's risky in that sense, but it could be a gamble worth taking to get more long-term gain out of a player that we have a long-term contract on and has a lot of potential. I didn't like the sound of the Scottish loans. It's tempting because you can see him every week and he can potentially hurt Sevco and other rivals in the league. But I think what Mikey Johnson needs is a consistent run of games, and probably in a league where people aren't just going to kick a shout at him every week. So that top flight of Belgium did wonders for Jack Hendry, and I think it could be a winner if Mikey Johnson is actually going to get a game when he goes out there as well.
Yeah, I would agree. The Belgium move is the best move for him in terms of developing as a player. It's the best move for Celtic in terms of protecting their asset, because like you say, in Scotland, he's going to have guys trying to kick him up and down the park every week. But I just hope that we don't make the same mistake we made with Hendry and make sure it is clear that it's a loan and not a loan to buy. Because if he does show the same improvement that Hendry did, you're suddenly looking at a £7 or £8 million player there. So
keep going. If it's been Belgium top flight, there's been wingers and that going out of there the last few years for 10 to 15. Guys ripping up every week. So if he does the same thing that Jack Hendry did in that league, And with him being a winger and his age profile and everything, you're easily looking at 8 figures. I don't know who would pay that, but that's just off what that market's been doing. I had a look into that earlier today when I saw that link. But with Mikey, you said, Sean, about that fifth winger, usually who can play both sides. His name is James Forrest. Because you currently have Maeda and Jota who can play left. You've got Jota and you've got Abada who can play right. So you've got Jota, and you've got Forrest who can play both sides. So you've got coverage.
No, because you've got Maeda, Jota,
it's 4 players,
Abada, and Forrest. Yeah.
It's 4 players, but you've got 2 guys who can cover both sides. That's
of course. Yeah. I guess I just meant a fifth player, but yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm just saying, like, just purely on squad balance, like I wouldn't be too stressed. I'd like to see Owen come in as the fifth option then. There you go.
Tell you who I like more. That's the one the name I was going to say. Sorry, Jared, for kind of cutting you there. Rocco Vata really impressed me in pre-season. He still looks like he's got a bit of filling out to do and stuff, but his touch and stuff looks just incredible. Like, he looks like a prospect. He looks. I was very impressed with him in pre-season.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about having the B team. We should be looking this year like, okay, who were the stars of that team last year, and do we give them a shot in the first team squad? And I haven't seen much of him, but for what I saw in pre-season and what I've read about him elsewhere, Vata sounds like the one that's got the real chance of actually stepping up to the first team and doing something. So, yeah.
He's got the way people are talking him up at the moment is the way people are talking up Karamoko when Brendan Rodgers come to the club. That's the way I'm hearing it. But I've seen more from Vata this preseason than I saw from Karamoko at the same age. So I'm not saying they're the same player, the same situation's going to happen. We have pathways in place as a club now, so it's good to see. But yeah, I'd like to see both Moffat and Vata given a chance this season, especially domestically or in the League Cup or whatever.
Yeah, especially if we end up doing anything in the Champions League, we're going to need to draw heavily on the squad for league games and cup games and whatever.
The positive, though, earlier in the week in Europe, which means Saturday games for us.
Yes.
Except for this week, for some stupid reason.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue for me, Sean. Thanks. On the weekend, we've got we're playing Aberdeen on Flag Day, and 4:30 on a Sunday in Glasgow.
Madness. The trains aren't even running.
1:30 in the morning, Monday morning, Melbourne time. Absolute prick of a time.
And you know the worst thing? I've got my medical at work on Monday morning, right? So I can't even eat or drink after 9:30 on Sunday night. So there goes having a couple of cans and watching the game.
I mean, in previous years, we've missed the game because we've done that thing where we could postpone our first game. But like, why the heck are we not at the first game? And the first game, flag, first game of the weekend, season opener on the TV. I don't get that. Why are Sevco on Saturday at 12 and we're on Sunday, our Sunday?
Makes no sense at all. And that was what I was just about to say is like, you'd think the team who won the comp the season before would be the opening game shown, but you never figure it out with his TV deals over there. So, oh well, we'll figure it out.
The only thing I can think of is Sevco might have a European game after.
Yeah,
they do, but I thought it was Wednesday. I don't think it's Tuesday.
Yeah, but I mean, when they're scheduling it, they wouldn't have known.
If it's a Wednesday game, then they have to play on the Saturday. Yeah.
All right.
No, they don't have to, but they wouldn't have known when they're scheduling it. It could be on Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, well, looks like it's potential illegal stream CSC time for me on that game. All right, so back to Aberdeen. What are you boys expecting from the game? You want to go through your starting lineup, what you're thinking, Sean, and then your score prediction?
I don't think it's difficult. It'll be the same one, maybe one change at the most, if somebody's kind of looking a bit sluggish at training or whatever, but it'll be the same team as the Norwich game. Starfelt's not going to be ready. Moritz Jens is not going to be ready. All these players are not going to be ready to be starting next week, so it will be that same 11, I think. I literally can't think of any change I would make. I reckon Aberdeen are actually going fairly well to start the season. I think if I read it correctly, they've won 4 out of 4 in the League Cup. I get that it's just a glorified pre-season, but it's got a bit more intensity than an actual pre-season. So they should, on paper, they might actually be a bit sharper than us. And they've got some good players now. With this new kind of post-Brexit player permit thing, we're actually starting to see a kind of return to the early 2000s where like journeymen are coming in from like Eastern European leagues that don't have any caps and are signing for the likes of Aberdeen. So it's not something I'm been used to seeing in previous years, but if you actually like kind of look at their squad on Wikipedia, there's quite an array of flags associated with the Aberdeen squad. So I do think it will be a tough game. I think it will be close. I'm hoping that being at home and having the crowd behind us and having close to a fully fit squad will give us the edge. And it does feel a bit like a 2-0 game to me. It's kind of similar to the Norwich one. But I think Aberdeen will frustrate us. And the earlier we get the goal, the more comfortable we'll be.
Aye. I was going to go 2-0 as well, actually, yeah. The one possible change is up front. The question of do we start with Kyogo or Giakoumakis up front? And I think Giakoumakis might be the better option, just for the type of team that Aberdeen are. But we'll wait and see on that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thing I was going to say there, Liam. I was like, agree with everything Sean said. Squad, I thought it'd be the same, but I didn't think Kyogo did well in the first half on last weekend because he wasn't getting much service because they were big physical centre-back pairing. So I thought, yeah, more likely to be Giakoumakis who'd start. Kyogo coming on last half hour to terrorise him. So it'll be 2-0, then Kyogo will come on, and then it will end up 4-0.
All right.
Hope so. Hope you're right.
Aye.
I just thought I'd do that for, some variety, so we're not all saying 2-0.
You have to remember as well that Liam Scales can't play, so their team's going to be a bit shifted about as well. So hopefully that'll disrupt them.
Oh, that's right. Aye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'll be...
assuming he can't play.
The other thing I'm hoping to see on Flag Day, when I watch the game, is that I see more people there than empty seats in the lower tier. Like, I know it's pre-season the last 2 games, but considering last weekend was a sellout and there was so many empty seats there, I want to see full Celtic Park, like full house. Just get it, Chockers. I know it will be, but yeah, let's get in there.
Sold out. It's sold out.
Yeah, I know there was issues last weekend where a lot of the Irish CSCs couldn't get across on the ferry. So that had a massive part in it. But yeah, just want to see a full house for Flag Day and hit the ground running early goal. And yeah.
Who do you reckon is going to do the whole ceremony presentation crap beforehand or whatever? Who normally does it? It's normally the chairman, right?
No, it's normally a former player comes out, isn't it? And does it?
I'm sure Peter Lawwell's done it in the past, has he not? I remember Fergus McCann did it and got booed. Remember in '98 he got booed doing it.
Yeah.
I remember Brian Quinn's done it before. But yeah, you're right. I don't know who it is year on year, to be honest.
Who was that bloke?
Can we get Craig White to do it just for comedy value?
Who was the bloke who was our who came in from Scottish Rugby and then pissed off after about 3 seconds in the job?
Dominic Mackay.
Get Dominic Mackay to come do it because that'll be the most time we would have seen him on Celtic Park in front of a crowd at all.
He's the one guy no one would predict was going to do it. That's all I think.
Yeah, because they definitely get the former players for Trophy Day, but I can't. It's always someone. I'm sure it's always someone from the boardroom for the Flag Day. So it could be Michael Nicholson. It could be. We'll find out.
Let's get Derek McInnes in just for shits and giggles, even though he's the next Rangers player.
Chris Boyd. I want Chris Boyd to do it.
Nah, perfect one. Chris Sutton, get him in because that'll wind him up in the media. Done. Sorted. Anyway, so we're at that time, halfway point of the podcast. It's time for fearless predictions for the upcoming season, boys. This could get a little wild. could get a little bit little boring. Depends what you want, but what we'd like from you, got anyone tuning in, is when we discussing what we're going to say, put your put in what you think in the comments section. Really want to do this, and we'll bring some up on the screen. So, first one, Fearless prediction is, who will win the league this season?
Are you asking me or just throwing it
Just
out
in general, because if anyone says anything but Celtic, you're off the podcast.
I think it will be Man City. Be more precise with your question, Jared. Yes, Celtic, obviously.
That's it. You're in the naughty corner, going off the time.
I think it'll be Celtic as well. No question.
Got to start with an easy one. That's why I did that. Next question is, who will get relegated this season?
So I had a look at the table beforehand, and it's looking a bit stronger than before. And God, I hope it's Kilmarnock or Livingston, just so we've got one fewer artificial surface. But I'm kind of swaying between St Johnstone and St Mirren, to be totally honest. I mean, St Mirren are currently they're both sitting bottom of the table at present, so I don't really see them climbing off there anytime soon. But no, in all seriousness, I do actually think St Mirren are definitely, and I think St Johnstone are struggling as well. And I also think Hibs will be down there. I don't think Hibs are going to have a great season. But yeah, I'm going to say St Mirren.
I hope Kilmarnock. I think St Mirren. But like you just said, Sean, Hibs have looked absolutely shocking in the couple of League Cup games. I've seen them in the last couple of weeks. They could get sucked into it if they're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm hoping it's Livy.
Yeah.
And we've got a few people in the comments. Strange Love the Doctor, Livy with any luck. Michael Ross. I hope it's Livy. There you go. So we've got a few that agreeing with us. So there you go. Who will be the leading scorer? Now, this one, who will be Celtic's leading scorer and who will be the league leading scorer? So we'll go to you first, Sean.
I think it'll be the same, and I think it'll come down to injury, really, whether it's Kyogo or Giakoumakis, and if injury is not a factor, I'm going to say Kyogo. Not the most bold prediction, I know, but I'm just extrapolating from last year.
I know who Liam's going to say already, so if not take the words out of your mouth, Liam. It's
Okay, go on.
Matsumoto, Yamaga's own Daisen Maeda.
That would be the hopeful one. The realistic one, I'm going to say Kyogo. But I don't think that Celtic's top goal scorer is going to be the league's top goal scorer. Because I think you're going to have a spread of goals. I think you're going to have Jota, Maeda, Giakoumakis, Kyogo, and possibly Abada all getting like between 10 to 15 goals each throughout the season. You'll have Matt O'Reilly chipping in with 8 to 10 as well. I think there's going to be a spread of goals across the whole team. So top goal scorer for Celtic will be Kyogo, but the league top goal scorer, I hate to say it, might be that little shite Morelos. Just because he's their main man, whereas we have about 3 or 4 main men. So
for me, it's I think Maeda will be our leading scorer. And I thought the overall league one, I was going to say Christian Ramirez at Aberdeen. Really rate him from what I've seen, but it looks like he's leaving because his number 9 top's been taken off him and he's rumoured to be leaving.
Yeah. I heard
So
that.
I'm going with Bojan Miovski, his replacement up at Aberdeen. Big Macedonian centre forward. That's who I'm going with. Something a little outside the box here.
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
What about Shankland at Hearts has got a shout as well, I think.
Has he done it in the Premier League? He's done it in the lower leagues in Scotland, but has he done it in the top flight?
He did okay at Dundee United, yeah. It wasn't amazing, but he got a transfer to Belgium from there. So, yeah, he scored that goal from the halfway line. But yeah, you're right, it wasn't consistent. But if he's found some professionalism, then he will definitely be at risk of doing it.
Fair enough. Who will get the most red cards this season?
Probably the same as last year. What was his name? White Hibs. Porteous.
Porteous, yeah.
I'm going to go for a wild card one here. I'm going to say Alan McGregor of Rangers, because they're making him their first choice keeper this season, and he's past it. He is going to pull people down that run past him for penalties. He's going to get into scuffles with people, because as it becomes more apparent he doesn't have it anymore, his temperament will go. And there comes a point where even if you're playing for Rangers, if you lash out so blatantly, you're going to get a red card.
VAR could shaft him as well.
Aye. The amount of times he has a wee fly elbow when the referee's not watching, definitely.
And that's why I'm going for either Scott Arfield with this one, or for, what's the other bloke's name? John Lundstrom, one of those two. Once VAR comes in, it could be caught out.
Lundstrom should have had about 3 or 4 red cards last season, so yeah.
Exactly.
Aye.
Let's see if we've got anyone in the comments here. There we go. I like this one. Some Fanny from Sevco.
Well, that's what I said, wasn't it? So, you know.
Who will be the first team to sack their manager this season? I'm going first. Hibs. Since that Gordon bloke has bought them, he's just been sacking guys. So there you go.
It's true. They did sack 2 managers last year. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that one. Yeah. Yeah, man, I can't actually argue with that. Who else could it be?
Hibs are the Watford of the Scottish League. Where's a new manager every 3 or 4 months?
Who's at St Mirren now? Who's the St Mirren manager?
Nah, don't know. I'll check for you. While we're checking, Liam can give his 2 cents.
Right. Are we now, just for the sake of clarity here, are we talking about who's going to be the first one to be sacked, or who's going to be the first one to leave a club?
Oh, good question.
Well, that's why I went sacked, because last year we had this conversation as well. So if it's leaving, I think it'll be Callum Davison will leave St Johnstone on his own accord. If it's sacked, I think it'll be Hibs. Right.
Callum Davidson, I agree with you. I think he could go somewhere, and possibly in England. But sacking, okay, I'm going to say it. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Oh, nice.
Because I think Rangers' entire season could implode by October. I see them getting bounced out the Champions League. I see them losing the first Glasgow derby to us. And if those 2 things happen, they are looking at, and they don't get off to a flyer in the Europa League, which they might well not if they get a group as hard as we got last year. Suddenly, people will turn on him very, very quickly. So he could be gone by October, November time.
So come back to you, Sean. Steve Robinson, the old Motherwell manager, is the St Mirren manager. And I'd like to add another person to my leading red card person. St Mirren have a guy who played for Western Sydney over here in the A-League called Keanu Bacchus. He'll get a couple. He doesn't shirk a tackle.
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, midfielder. Yeah, no, I'm taking Stephen Robinson. I think St Mirren also don't mind sacking a manager. But yeah, that's hard to be honest, it is hard to argue against Hibs being the first ones.
Okay, next one is who will be the player of the season? So we can go Celtics player of the season, the league player of the season. And then who will be the signing of the season for all clubs and also for Celtic? We'll put 2 of them together here. So player of the season, Sean, who do you reckon that'll be?
Now, I was thinking about this coming into tonight, and I wanted to say Rio Hatate, but I think there's a bias towards players that score goals. And if Kyogo had not been injured in the second half of the season, he would have strolled to Player of the Year. So I'm going to say he gets it this year. But I'm going to say he doesn't get the Celtic Player one. I'm going to say that Hatate gets the Celtic Player of the Year. So I reckon Kyogo wins the SPFL one, but Hatate wins the club one.
So we'll stick with just Player of the Year. Liam, over to you.
Right. Celtic Player of the Year, I'm going to go for Maeda. Because I think if you're talking about Like, player's player. I think other players appreciate the effort that guy puts in, even when it's maybe not necessarily happening for him.
Mm-hmm.
League Player of the Year, I'm going to go for Joe Hart, because I think there's going to be some goalkeeping heroics needed, especially in Europe, if we're going to get anywhere this year. And Joe still has the chance to fight for a World Cup place, because there is no great single goalkeeper in England at the moment. So if we can do some damage in Europe and he has good performances, he's still got a chance in that World Cup squad. So I think, yeah, Joe Hart.
So, player of the season for me, strange the doctor agrees with me, it's Jota. And that's for both club and the league. Actually, no, that's the league. Club will be Calmac.
Yeah, Jota did win 3 Player of the Months last year, which nobody's ever done before. So it's definitely a possibility.
And he didn't even win it because Calmac won it last thing. That took the easy option on one. Who will be Celtic's signing of the season? And then who will be the signing of the season at the other clubs out there?
Well, the signing of the season for the other clubs is already decided. Rocky Bashiri signing for Hibs by accident was hilarious and clearly wins the award. Where they thanked him for his services and sent him on his way, and then, oh no, he actually signed because he triggered a signing clause that we had and we didn't realise. So that's definitely the signing of the season already. Celtic's signing of the season.
I'll let you put Jota and Carter Vickers in because we've actually proper signed them if you want. And Maeda, yep.
Oh, yeah, man, that kind of makes it too easy then. Or difficult in a different way. Yeah, okay, including those, I'll go with Carter Vickers based on European performances.
Okay. I'm going to say Bernabe. I'll say Bernabe is going to be our signing of the season. I see good defensive qualities there, but very, very good qualities going forward as well, which we haven't really had since Kieran Tierney. So I'm not saying he's as good as Kieran Tierney, but I think we could finally have an actual heir apparent there. So yeah, Bernabe.
And for the league?
See, it's difficult to say because there'll probably be a lot more signings between now and the window closing. But
that's why it's Fearless Lamb. It's supposed to just back down.
Oh God!
Like, I'll give you my one then if you want. I'll give you some more thinking time.
No, I'll tell you what. Right, I'll give you one now. Right, I'll give you one now. I don't know where he's going to end up, but Lee Griffiths is currently training with Livingston. Apparently, is doing really well. Don't know if they're going to offer him a contract, but wherever he goes, he's going to score goals because I think he's finally got his head together. So Lee Griffiths, of club yet to be decided.
Fair enough. So for me, our best signing will be Moritz Jens. I think he'll do great in our back line, give us some stability. And the fact that he was the guy that Ange wanted last season before we even got Carter Vickers says it all. Signing of the season for the rest of the league will be everyone's resources that have been pulled together from the other clubs to pay for VAR, so they get a lot of those dodgy penalties against them, overturned by VAR. So signing of the season for everyone else is that there's going to be VAR in Scotland now.
I think
one of times Rangers got late penalties last season and the year when they won it, if you add all that up, how many points to take off them, it completely changes the whole complexion of the lower half of the league and who's getting those European spots. So for me, that's my reason. What are you going to say, Sean?
I was going to say a name that I've been hearing a lot of talk about is Dylan Levitt at Dundee United. He was there on loan, but he's now a permanent signing. But they reckon he's just here to win a bigger move by the end of this season. So there's a lot of chat and high hopes about him. And another one I don't think will be a signing of the season, but I'm interested to see is Kerr McInroy at Kilmarnock. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does, getting a game every week in the top flight.
We'll give Liam some more thinking time. My serious answer, though, for signing of the season for other clubs will be Mark Birighitti, goalkeeper at Dundee United, who's coming from Central Coast Mariners.
I'm trying to type these out as you're saying them, but I don't know how to
Don't
spell
worry,
them.
I'll listen back and write. Liam?
No, I'm sticking with Lee Griffiths. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to do well wherever he does end up.
Cool. Just thought I'd re-clarify it, just in case something else popped in your head. Who will be Celtic's most improved player this season? I'll go first, just to shit Sean. Carl Starfelt once he's fit.
What do you mean? He was absolutely amazing last year. How could he possibly get any better? Liam, you want to go first here?
All right. I'm going to say Greg Taylor. Because I think he did well. He did well last season, but I think now that there's genuine competition for his position, it's going to push him on to be even better.
I was just about to query you then, because you said our signing of the season was Bernabei, and then you've gone now most improved will be his competition. So makes sense.
Yep.
Raise each other's levels. That's what we like.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be Hatate, and I know he was very good last year, but I think the Hatate we've seen in those first 3 games, we're going to get him, and he's going to be even a level above that. So I think by the end of the season, we'll be saying, where the hell did that come from? And 8-figure transfer fees, all that sort of stuff.
Aye, well, based on what I saw of him before he went to Celtic, we have only seen a fraction of what he's capable of so far. I can say that confidently.
And next one is, who will be our unsung hero of the season?
Ooh, unsung.
So basically, last season's Tony Ralston, the way he just came out of nowhere, that's what this question's based on.
Right.
I have 2 names in my head. Strangelove the Doctor, he's already saying it's going to be Ralston again.
Yeah, could be. I could actually. Yeah, it's hard to say.
I'll give you some thinking time then if you want. I'll rattle a couple then. Davey Turnbull, if he gets up to speed with one-touch football, which he looks like he has so far this pre-season, I think he'll put some good pressure on O'Reilly, and that means O'Reilly and Turnbull, the way those two are playing, they're going to improve each other. So we won't really miss Rogic. That's hurts to say that. The other one I'm thinking of will be Aaron Moy. I think second half of the season, he's going to be pushing hard in that midfield.
I'm going to say James Forrest. I think he can contribute a lot more than he's done over the last 2 years, and I reckon Andrew's seen something to give him a 3-year contract.
He always comes up with some goals. Pappy in the comments is saying Gucci.
Yep, I was just about to say that. Yeah, Gucci. I think Gucci is going to be this season's near Beaton. A guy who might not necessarily play every week, but he's going to become a very, very important member of the squad because he can step into pretty much any part of the midfield whenever we have an injury there. And I think he's going to come in and do well. So, yeah, Gucci.
So Mark Duffy in the comments has put this in. What is the best thing about all the predictions is everyone has chosen a different player. Perfect squad built by Ange.
Yep.
To be fair, in the past, we've all kind of piled on players like Mo El Yunusi and all been quite wrong.
Yeah. All right. So here comes the fun one. Sean, this is your question. So the question Sean sent through, and I misunderstood it, was who will be the first to get banned from Ibrox this season? So I thought he was talking about media outlets, but he was talking about individual.
Could be either.
So
let's say either.
Either or. So for me, they just sorted out their BBC issues, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them 2 matches and then they'll kick off again. So the BBC.
Yeah. Yeah. I stole my thunder on that one, Jared. Yep, I was. Aye. Just while we're on that subject, how utterly cowardly was that statement from the BBC about that? Just
Yep. Shite bags.
absolute cowardice.
Shite bags.
Mm-hmm.
Aye. And the thing is, I know that not everybody at the BBC is necessarily a fan of Sevco. So there'll be a lot of internal voices within the BBC not happy about that, and ones who will take every opportunity to have a wee go. And like you say, give it a couple of matches. If Sevco aren't winning, which I don't think they will be, they'll throw the toys at the pram, and as usual, they'll look to blame somebody else for their own failings. That'll be the BBC. So yeah.
Am I right in saying that Sutton and Lennon are still banned, or is that not a thing?
Were they actually banned though, or were they just said that we can't guarantee your safety? So it's kind of like a soft ban in a sense.
Right, but come on. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is in effect a ban, but what I mean is, like, Rangers never actually said to them, "You're not welcome here." You know what I mean?
They did. They just didn't want to, they just wanted to be, circumspect about it.
So we've got one here from Michael Ross, Big Packy Bonner.
Oh yeah, because I guess he'll be stepping up his BBC coverage. That's it, man. Like, everyone in the BBC is right in the firing line. The one that came to my mind was Kenny McIntyre, but then it occurred to me he's got a new job where he won't actually be out the studio anyway, because he's doing what's his name's job, the Aberdeen guy.
Richard Gordon.
Yeah, so he's taken over for Richard Gordon. So he shouldn't technically be going to Ibrox anyway. But yeah, it's. The other one that I thought of might be James McFadden for being too Fignon. But no, I think, whatever one is, if any of Lennon, Hartson, or Sutton are not currently banned, they'll be banned.
Has Michael Stewart been banned yet?
No, he was part of the. He got name checked individually in that apology, as in Sevco's statement was, we thank the BBC and Michael Stewart, like, is it BBC and Michael Stewart? So Michael Stewart actually got a specific name check in the apology.
I'll tell you now, he would have had very little, if any, input into that, because he doesn't seem like the type that would apologise for anything.
No.
So I'll go for Michael Stewart as a wee double, BBC and Michael Stewart to both be out of Ibrox by October. Closely followed by the manager.
Okay.
Exodus.
The next one is, what will the ticket allocation split be at the Glasgow derbies this year? So for me, I highly doubt we're going to go back to the old way. I think it'll still be the 700-800 tickets each. That's pretty much it. I don't see it going back to the old days where it was 8,000 or whatever each at a game, which is how it should be. But, I can't see that petty mob, doing that, because if they pull out of the Sydney Super Cup, to bow down to their fans, there's no way they're going to do that at Ibrox. So what do you think, Liam?
Yep, I agree with you. They pulled out of the Sydney Cup. They pulled out of the sponsorship deal.
Dad should have pulled out.
The only sad thing is their dads didn't pull out. It's just what I was going to say. Yeah, it's going to stay the way it is, and it's purely because of bitterness and narrow-mindedness. And honestly, if I was in Celtic's position, I would just say to them, well, do you know what? Just beat it. You get nothing from us then. Because especially if we go there and beat them comprehensively, as I think we're well capable of doing this year, I wouldn't want to be one of those 700 or 800 Celtic fans surrounded by 50,000 rabid Huns who've just watched their team get completely horsed. I can see things turning ugly very quickly, and I don't see the security at Ibrox being particularly quick to shut it down either. There are all manner of stories, not just from Celtic fans, but from fans of various clubs this season, that Rangers fans were throwing bottles of piss at people, throwing coins at them, spitting on them, racially abusing them. This kind of stuff happens every week to away supporters at Ibrox, and there comes a point where I think Celtic need to just say, look, either give us a full stand or piss off, basically. And I don't know if the club would do that, because it then makes them the bad guys of the piece, if you like, from the media narrative. But I think that's what needs to be done to put an end to this childish nonsense.
Anyway, to answer the question,
sorry, sorry,
that's all right. Yeah, no, I think I agree with you both. As is, they're just trying to assert dominance or control, like a toddler taking a piss on the rug just because it wants to assert some control, and so they're going to maintain that and anything else that they can, like the BBC thing, whatever they feel they can control.
Although, from the Huns' point of view, that's a step up from drinking their own piss, isn't it? So,
So, I was talking to my missus before the pod about these things, the other Phil's predictions, and she said, when you get to this one, can you mention my Phil's prediction? And her one was, we're going to do them 4-0 in the first derby of the season. Ooh. So I thought, I said, if I remember, I'll do it. So I'm throwing my wife's Phil's prediction in at this point as well, because while we're talking about the derbies.
Mate, I'm going to a fucking wedding that day. It's my fucking brother's wedding. I cannot get out of it.
Oh, no.
I'm fucking raging, honestly. Because I'm going over for his wedding, and I'm like, so when the fixtures was released, I was like, oh, yes, here we go. What games am I going to see when I'm over there? And then fucking derby right on the Saturday where he's getting married. I'm gutted, man. I'm gutted.
Is he marrying
a Celtic supporter? I've got to ask.
No.
Oh, no.
So anyone watching on YouTube, looking at Sean right now, can see the eyes of rage that are just coming, the disappointment that's directed to his brother. Good luck. Good luck, Sean's brother.
Well,
all right. So we've got 2 more to go for the Phil's predictions.
Mm-hmm.
So how will Celtic perform in Europe this year? Sean?
Last 16 of the Europa League, I think. That's right. So not the... Sorry, I guess it's technically because now it's 2 rounds of 16. So it'll be we'll get through 1 round of the Europa League to the one after that. Is that right? The Champions League dropouts play...
So basically, you're saying we'll finish 3rd in our Champions League group. We'll drop down to the Europa League. So then we'll win that round, the first round of qualifiers there.
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll only have 1 round if we drop down, because it's...
I thought it was the Europa League group winners that got to buy.
So did I. No.
Yeah, the second place Europa teams play against Champions League 3rd place teams.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. So we'll win that one, and then we'll get knocked out in the next one, you're saying?
Yeah.
I think we'll go 1 beyond that. I think we'll get to the last 8 of the Europa. I think we'll 3rd place in the Champions League, come through the knockout round, come through the last 16, and then last 8 we'll go it. That's my prediction.
I'm pretty happy with what both of you just said, because for me, I've said the key thing is once you get to the knockout stages, I want to win 1 knockout round at least, just to break that so-called curse, that monkey that's on our back, get rid of it. And we've got some comments here. So Michael Ross has gone, I'd imagine an improvement on last season. And Strange Love the Doctor, better than last year, but not all the way to the final. That's next season.
Aye. You don't want to spoil it all by getting it all at once. Build it up a wee bit. Aye, I agree with that.
So, yeah, for me, it'll be 3rd in the Champions League. I think we'll play against an English team in the Champions League and beat them down there. That'll send a nice little message to what's the guy's name?
Dean Smith.
The Norwich manager, because we're just, almost, what's it called? Almost a premiership team. So we'll beat a premiership team just for fun. And then last
Jared,
one.
You didn't actually say where we were going to get to. You just said 3rd in Champions League.
Yeah, and I said I agree with you guys.
Okay.
I'd be happy with winning I said I'd be happy to win 1 knockout round. Now, okay, fine. We're going to get to the last 4 of the Europa League. There you go.
Last 4. There you go. I was looking
Just-
for some firm commitment there, Sharon.
We won't get to the final because I don't know where the Europa League final is being played. Michael's put that in the comments there, but I don't know where it's being played.
It's
But
Hungary. Is it Hungary? And Ferenc Puskás Stadium. Is that right?
brilliant. That's
Oh,
it. We've got to win it now because who's our gaffer?
Yeah,
Ange
that's
will
got
go all
some
out.
synergy there for Ange.
If you're a chance to win the Europa League with Ange, he'd sacrifice league games for that. I'm telling you.
You may want to confirm that one. I'm going from memory here. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
No, when
The
you said that, it rung a bell with me as well. I think you're right.
All right, last question, boys. How many Celtic players will play at the World Cup this year?
Right. So I was trying to find it. You dropped this question on us, so I didn't really have a time to kind of dissect the squad and figure it out. But obviously, Juranovic is a stick on. Moy is maybe not a stick on, but Moy's going, in my opinion. I reckon 3 Japanese players: Hitate, Maeda, Kyogo, all go. And then I'm kind of struggling to figure out what other countries have qualified because Switzerland are there, but Siegrist, as far as I know, is not in any of the teams. And Ayeti, I don't think will make it. O'Reilly's an outside chance. So how many have I said there? Is that 5?
Aye.
Oh, Carter Vickers will go. That's 6. And did Sweden
And you're
qualify?
missing one more.
Did Sweden qualify?
No.
I know. I'm looking at that now.
Don't think they did. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure they got knocked out in the playoffs. Same as
The other
Scotland.
one missing out is Juranovic.
I said them. That was the first one I said.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear.
That's all right. So yeah, Juranovic, the 3 Japanese boys, Moy is 5. They're the 5 stick-ons for me, and I don't think Switzerland. I think are the only country that have qualified, and Denmark are the only other outside chances. But I'd say probably not, unless I'm missing something.
Okay. I'm gonna the same as you've said. 3 of the 4 Japanese: Carter Vickers, Juranovic, Moy.
Oh, sorry, 6. Yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting Carter Vickers 6.
Yeah, I think Matt O'Reilly's going to get into the Denmark squad. He might not necessarily play, but I think he'll get into the squad. I think, and here's the wild card one. I think Joe Hart is going to make the England squad as the third choice keeper. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking 7. I don't think Joe Hart will be in, but then I'm thinking, the 3 Japanese boys will be in. Moy will be in the squad. Carter Vickers. Just quickly scanning through. Oh, okay, nah. Sweden didn't make it. Juranovic. Jota will make the squad, but I doubt he'll play because he's going to tear it up in the Champions League start of the season. And O'Reilly. There you go.
Okay.
I don't know if that's 7 or I think I may have gone more now. Anyway, whatever. My maths isn't great at this point in time.
Right. While we're talking about the World Cup, can I?
There you go.
Sorry,
we left someone out. I thought Greece made it.
Let me just check that. I don't think they did.
I don't think
so.
They did.
Might have thought so.
Then we'll check that. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm just checking that now. Give me a wee second.
So while Liam's checking that, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Celtic Down Under podcast through your podcast app and also on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, please give us a follow at Celtic Down. Twitter is the same at Celtic Down. Facebook, we've got a group and a page on there. You can like and join the group. And the website Celtic Down Under is currently offline, undergoing some. It's going to be rejigged soon, and then once that's relaunched, I'll let you all know. You found anything, Liam?
Yeah, Greece didn't make it, unfortunately.
There you go. So, with that in mind, final thought time, boys. So, we'll leave Liam till last. So, Sean, you want to
go? I went to see a movie last night. Where the Crawdads Sing. Thought it was going to be like a To Kill the Mockingbird kind of murder mystery trial thing. No, it was just a chick flick. So any guys that your missus wants you to go see it, think like The Notebook. It's kind of like that. It's a bit shit.
This is directed at you.
Yeah.
My final thought, just anyone who watches UFC would have seen earlier in the week, there's a fighter from Liverpool, Paddy the Baddy, and his mate commit suicide, the day, 1 or 2 days before his fight. And he's just send a really good message out there. Just, it's not weak to speak, boys. If anyone's struggling or whatever, have a chat, check in on your mates. There's a lot going on in this world at the moment with, people struggling financially, people's health and mental well-beings all over the place because of COVID and job losses and all that sort of shit. So I don't want to put a downer on the podcast, but please have a chat, check on your friends, and just keep an eye on each other.
Yeah.
Always a good sentiment.
I'm just gonna close out by saying that I've been following the political developments recently in Scotland, and I wanted to just highlight something which has bothered me a wee bit as a newspaper guy. I used to work for newspapers. The Scotsman ran an editorial this week which said, we 100% support the people of Ukraine. We believe that they are right to stand up to Russia, and that every country's people has the right to determine their own future by their own means. And yet, at the same time, the Scotsman says that Scottish people should not be allowed another vote on independence. Hypocrisy at its finest.
Yep. Have to agree with you on that. So, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back next week, probably around at the same time on Wednesday over there. So, thanks again, and hail, hail.
Hail,
Hail,
hail.
hail.
Job it.